One of the biggest traps that we fall into in the preparedness, survival, 2A community is we love to buy gear. Nothing wrong with that. We love to research it. We love to figure out what's the best options. Once we buy it, then do we actually practice with it? That's the biggest thing, is we actually collect gear, but we don't practice with it near enough. I'm at the range today. It was on my mind, so I wanted to share with you my thoughts on it. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm at the range and we're talking about the fact that one of the biggest traps that we fall into in this community is that we buy stuff and it goes on a shelf. We don't practice. We don't become experts in it. We don't become, well, maybe not even experts. We don't even get good at it. We don't practice with it. And that's really kind of the subject of today. And I'm at the range, so obviously the practicing with your firearm was on my mind, but really it applies to anything that you might be buying. Do you know how to use a fire starter? Do you know how to, what's going to happen if you actually load up your pack with all your bug out supplies and you have to bug out? Have you ever actually tried to carry it and walk with it? Have you spent sufficient time with your concealed carry weapon? Have you spent enough time with your nightstand weapon or your closet gun or whatever you're going to draw when something goes bump in the night or somebody attacks you on the street? Are you ready? Like, have you actually prepared and simulated scenarios like that? Now, obviously, you can't simulate things perfectly. The closer you can simulate to the real thing, the more you are going to be prepared. First of all, let me just tell you this. I'm not perfect at this. I'm actually not very good at this at all. I fall into these same traps. So I'm trying to tell y'all my flaws that hopefully it will be helpful to you. Hopefully it'll be helpful to me to remind myself to do better, step it up. Don't forget to check out our live streams on Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we will interact with you live as we go through different preparedness topics, from gear to 2A stuff to bug outs to disaster scenarios. Whatever the case may be, come check it out. Now, if you do end up enjoying this kind of content, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I appreciate it. A lot of times what happens, though, is when I come to the range, and I'll do this sometimes, and I'll see other people doing it a lot, they'll come to the range, and they'll sit behind this table here. The range is that way, so normally I'm on the other side. They'll stand over there, and maybe they're over at the rifle range. This is the pistol range, rifle range over there. At the rifle range, they have these nice benches. You sit on the bench, and then you have like a table that you can shoot off of. And that's what everybody does. They just sit there and shoot off the table. And there's a place for it if you're sighting in your optic or your optics of some kind. Great. But if that's all you ever do, then you're not going to be actually practicing where you use that rifle, for example. If you are sighting in a bolt-action hunting rifle, and you're at this nice comfy bench and it's on this nice comfy rest, well, the reality is, if you're practicing that for hunting, well, when you're in a tree stand, when you're walking around, when you're in your blind, whatever the case may be, and you go to actually fire that at a deer or an elk or whatever you might be chasing down, that's not how you fire there. So we need to actually get in the positions that we're going to be shooting in. If you're going to be laying prone and shooting, which is really, really common if you're like a prepared civilian and you want to simulate how things work in the military, shooting prone is very, very common. Do you actually, at your range, do you lay down and practice that? Now, you may not have a range that has that ability. This range is awesome because there's this kind of thing where you've got the benches, but they also have just lanes that are just laying on the concrete. So I can lay down a shooting mat, I can lay down, I can use a bipod, I can do whatever. As long as I shoot behind the firing line, we're good to go. Are you aligning with the scenario? Now, an example here is like with your pistol. So I've got here, this is my range belt. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Again, sometimes I'm just come here and I sight in a new pistol, a new red dot I got on it or whatever, and that's all I do, and I go home. More often, I want to actually, I don't want to say drills necessarily, but at least simulate more realistic things. So instead of just laying the firearm on the bench or whatever, I'll go over there and I'll have my pistol belt on, and I'll put this is my Canic Met MC9 Prime holster. I will put my Canic in here, and then I will actually draw and practice drawing. Now, obviously, you can practice drawing and firing dry fire at home, and I would totally recommend you do that. But at some point, you have to transition from that dry practice in your home to actually putting rounds down range, and even going from draw to fire to follow-up shots. Now this is more of a prepared civilian situation, like I'm using a battle belt or a range belt. Now I'm not going to be walking around the neighborhood or going shopping in one of these, right? So I'd use my sling bag where I do my concealed carry. And then I would do draws from that at home to practice. But at some point I got to come to the range, do the draw to practice, bring it on target, and actually pull the trigger and do follow-up shots, for example. And having that full chain of practice. So definitely dry fire at home and spend your time wisely there, because that way you're spending less money, but you're still getting great practice time. Now, in addition to that, there's also something to be said for putting on a chest rig or putting on your plate and actually having that weight on you as you're shooting. If you put your chest, if I put my slick plate carrier on and I put this chest rig over it, can I actually bring my rifle up to the right position, the pocket of my shoulder, to make it feel the way it's supposed to feel? Can I actually wear this drop down to a knee and shoot from being on one knee? Or even use this lay down prone and shoot with it and see how that feels? Now, I'm not saying you have to do that like tactical simulation every time you shoot, obviously. But having some experience to know how these things are going to affect your shooting is really, really helpful. If it ever came down to an SHTF situation and I'm bugging out, what if I have my pack on and my full kit on and we make contact with somebody and they start firing at us, and then I have to run the other way for, say, 50 yards. Now, the adrenaline's pumping from being shot at. I've just run 50 yards. Then I get on a knee, turn around, and I try to put shots back. To help my family get further away, or whatever the case may be, right? And you see where I'm going with this. Like, have you simulated being under duress? That's one of the things I love about like shooting competitions. When you're shooting, I don't know if you've ever tried this in a competition. I've never, I'm not former military or anything, so I've never been downrange. I've never been shot at. But if you've even just gone into a competition, like I did some IDPA in the past, as soon as you start the competition, the timer goes off, and you start the course of fire, and you're tunnel vision. And so practicing that stressful situation is very, very good for getting rid of that tunnel vision, to being able to say, okay, I'm totally hyper focused on right here, but I need to be at everything, right? Like, again, have you loaded up your bug out bag? Have you actually taken your bug out bag and gone into the woods and spent a night living out of your bug out bag? Like, have you? I haven't done it in a long time. I have done it before. And it was eye-opening to see, some shortcomings in my bag, some things I forgot to pack, some things I definitely packed and don't, really, in reality, it's heavy. I don't know if I'd ever use the thing. So it's imperative that you actually practice. And again, I'm not coming at this from I'm perfect, right? Because I am not. I come to the range maybe once every week and a half right now. Some weeks I'll go twice in a 1 week, and other times I'll go, it'll be 2 weeks before I get back to the range. How often do I recommend the range? And that I'm blessed because I live really close to this range and I have access to this thing essentially all the time. As long as it's daylight hours, I can come out here and shoot pretty much whenever I want, except for when there's like events. Ideally, you would come once to twice a week. And when you come, you want to focus on the things that are most likely to happen. So the gun you should be firing more than anything else is your concealed carry weapon. That should be your absolute, I practice with that thing, 70, 80% of the time. The second thing that you should be practicing the most with is whatever you're going to pick up if something goes bump in the night at your house. Maybe it's your concealed carry gun, right? Maybe it's a different firearm. For example, my concealed carry gun is a smaller, it's a Canik MC9 Prime right now. I love that thing, by the way. But my nightstand gun is a different gun. It's a Canik TP SFX9, or I can't remember exactly the acronyms, but it's a full-size Canik, which, again, I love it. But whatever is your it goes bump in the night gun, that should be your second most common. And maybe it's like, okay, well, if somebody, like for my case, I have the gun at my nightstand, and then I have a gun that's also close by that's a pistol caliber carbine, a 9mm, which if I have a chance to get that, then I'll pick that up. And so, I practice with that fairly often. Now, outside of that, do I like to shoot other guns? Of course. If I pick up a new pistol, full-size, concealed carry, whatever, I'll shoot it. If I pick up a new rifle, love to practice it, love to get it sighted in. It's all fun stuff. But once that's done, I really try to spend the bulk of my time with the guns that I'm most likely to shoot in duress or under duress. So with that cadence of practice, where I'm spending 70, 80% of the time on those things, how do I work in time for other guns that I want to just have fun with, play with, whatever, they're just fun to shoot? Well, that means I have to come more often, right? If I'm only coming once a month, I'm probably spending 100% of my time between those 3 firearms. If I'm coming every week, obviously I can lower those numbers a little bit between those 3 guns and add in other firearms. But you have to be smart in how you're spending the time at the range. If you just pick random guns every time you come, well, I would just ask you, are you highly proficient in your concealed carry? Is your muscle memory good enough for your reloads, for your, your actual manual of arms for that particular gun? Is it just instinctive for you? But a lot of that type of practice can be done at home, which I do, again, highly recommend, because if you can get that muscle memory from your, whether it's appendix carry, 4 o'clock carry, or, off body in a bag or whatever, if you just practice that over and over and over, pull the bag, open the bag, grab the pistol, pull it out, bring it up, et cetera, and you just get good at it, really, fast, that's awesome. There's a great saying, and I love it and I hate it at the same time. It's slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That is a good saying to get you going slow so that you're doing it smooth so that you can get faster. If you're going slow to be smooth and never get faster, then slow is smooth, but smooth is just slow. Slow is slow. And so the whole point of that saying is to start slow so you're smooth and then build up that speed so you're still smooth while keeping that constant muscle memory, building of that muscle memory. But at the end of the day, slow is still slow. If you're doing off-body carry like I'm doing, that's inherently slower than if you did appendix or some kind of in the waistband carry. But that's how I choose to do it. So that means I need to put the time in. In my office, I have the Mantis, one of the Mantis shooting systems, little laser bullets. But sometimes when I have a downtime in my office, I can use that Mantis system and I can put the little laser bullet in there and I can get some reps of drawing, getting, again, ripping the bag open, grabbing the pistol, getting good positive grip on it, drawing it, bring it up onto target, pull the trigger, dry fire. Just be safe, obviously, be safe. Always follow the 4 laws of gun safety. Anyway, my challenge to you, whether it be your firearms, whether it be your bug out bags, your get home bags, whatever the case may be, practice. Now maybe you don't want to actually to actually do a get home simulation, right, on foot from your office. I get that. What if you just put your get home bag on and you walked around the street for a couple miles or a mile or 2 to get the feel of it, and then go home, and then as soon as you pull it off, then actually go through and say, do I really need this? Is this something I want, etc. Anyway, that's my advice to you. Practice more, use your preps, practice with them, get better, get proficient. And anyway, if you did enjoy this content, please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We'll see you next time.